Yes,
Pow!
people, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. This is episode number 36, and we are, as always, your hosts, Yala Malcolm. How are you, bro?
I'm alright, bro. Thank you very much. Had a pretty busy weekend, to be honest. Friday, I went to the clinic because I had a problem with my left ankle.
Oh, that's bad.
Luckily, nothing wrong with it. I put some Ventolin on it, and the bruise got smaller. Thank God. So my ankle is not 100%, but it's alright. On Saturday, I had another few errands with my mother. And on Sunday it was pretty chill. I mean, watched the Grand Prix, but other than that, pretty good. How about you,
Yeah.
bro? You good?
I'm just having a very busy couple of weeks, not just with the weekend, bro. At the moment, like life is just running very, very quickly at this moment in time. So just it's
Bro,
just a lot of things happening at once
we're almost halfway to the year already.
already, man. Already.
Already,
I thought
it's the 20th of May.
No, I mean, life is moving very, very fast at the moment. I mean, my days are just incredibly hectic with not just with work, but also with my content stuff and with this podcast as well, and with all other stuff leading up to the next couple of months as well. I'll be abroad in Tanzania in the next couple of months, summiting hopefully in the hopes of summiting Mount Kilimanjaro with a group of 16 other
Tan-
people.
Tanzania Fan TV coming soon, guys. You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
yeah, it's coming soon, guys, and just in time for the summer break as well.
Tanzania Fan
took
TV, let's get it.
took my vaccines today. I'm feeling okay at the moment. Just a cup, some. However, I am feeling a bit of some side effects coming into place now. Hopefully, nothing too serious with that. Other than that, pretty chill, bro. A pretty chill weekend. Obviously,
Dope.
continue
Cool,
with my
dope.
training leading up to Kilimanjaro, obviously,
Cool.
and obviously watched the Imola Grand Prix this weekend. That's going to be exactly this for this episode, guys. So before we begin, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, we are the Stop Lounge, the podcast about Formula One, what happens on the racetrack, at the paddock, or outside of it. We talk things solely exclusively and related to Formula One. And obviously, we do race reviews, give our awards, and talk about some stuff of the track as well. If this is your first time, and also for our fellow listeners and for our fellow listeners from Spotify and YouTube, make sure to follow us on our socials, those two platforms as I mentioned, Facebook and also Instagram. And for Spotify listeners, hit us with that rating and let us know your thoughts on the polls that we publish for each and every episode. And with that, bro, let's begin today's episode. We
Hit it.
have Imola to talk about, but before we get into Imola, we have some news of the track, and that is Alpine. Now, bro, this news broke out just a couple of minutes, quite literally,
After
after we recorded the last episode.
it did.
So
It did.
so with Alpine, had a very difficult season last year. However, it ended on a high. And one of the main reasons why they had such a difficult season was because of the constant turbulence and changes outside the track. Obviously, numerous changes up front with the team principal, with the engineers, until after Spa-Francorchamps, Alpine had Oliver Oakes as the team principal, who replaced Bruno Famin halfway through. Alpine also had a couple of stakeholders. Most of them have been celebrities as well, who have had a small share
Ryan
with
Reynolds
the team.
amongst them, I believe. No.
Ryan Reynolds was one of them. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, a whole list of celebrities basically.
There's a lot.
And we all thought that the instability and the chaos was going to stop there, guys. But that ain't the case. That ain't the case at all, because Oliver Oakes abruptly resigned as team principal with immediate effect. Now, in that moment, we had no idea as to why he resigned, but afterwards, we found out that he resigned as his brother was arrested. He was charged
What?
with the transferring of criminal property. Yeah, bro, exactly.
What?
He
Know
was.
this? What?
Yeah, he was. No, no.
Oliver Oaks' brother. Oliver Oaks'
Yeah,
brother.
Oliver Oakes' brother, who is William Oakes, for those who don't know. He was arrested after being found in possession of a large amount of cash when he was stopped at Silverstone Park on May the 1st, believe it or not. And that was pretty much the main reason why Oliver had to resign immediately, basically. So, short stay,
Yo.
and a pretty wide and a pretty wide statement, bro. Now, obviously, you could say Pierre Gasly was the main man who put Alpine into sixth place, but Oliver Oaks deserved a lot of credit. So that's a pretty big loss. Now, obviously, we don't know yet who is going to be the team principal.
I
So
think we
as
know.
of
I think we know. I think we
hang on a
know.
minute, bro. But as of now,
I think we know.
Flavio Briatore, who initially came in as an executive advisor for the team, is now the team principal on an interim basis. And I'm emphasizing on bunny ears, guys, because I don't think he's gonna be team principal on an interim basis, given his history with the sport. What do you think, bro? Your thoughts?
I have a lot of questions. First of all, how many interims in the past 2 seasons have Alpine had?
A lot.
I lost count. Moreover, I didn't even start to take count. Second of all, to for Oliver Oaks to resign because of his brother is crazy work. Three, Flavio Briatore. This guy a couple years ago was banned for life by Formula One. He somehow weaseled his way back through. He was banned for life because of that Singapore '08 scandal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, for
Yeah,
Lewis PK purposely crashing. Yeah,
yeah, that
that's
was
the
back in 2009, the Singapore Grand Prix, basically. Yeah,
was it '08? I don't know, but
oh nine, oh
someone like
nine,
that.
oh nine, oh nine, oh nine,
Oh
oh
no.
nine.
Well, basically, he was banned for life after that scandal. He somehow weasels his way back in, bro. And not only he weasels his way back in, he takes Oliver Oaks' place as interim team principal of Alpine, which we all know all well and truly, that he's gonna stay as the team principal.
For sure.
Who the hell do you think Alpine have the guts to replace Flavio Briatore apart from Flavio Briatore himself?
No,
The
I can't
dude,
see that happening, bro.
the dude is a walking grenade, bro. Ain't no way it's happening.
Yeah, for sure. But listen,
He's like
what
a
a mess
bro,
Alpine are at the moment.
bro. Flavio Briatore is like a Semtex you find on Call of Duty.
Yeah,
You shoot
exactly.
the grenade and it pops off any second. The grenade just sticks to your body.
He's a ticking bomb that's about to explode, bro. Quite literally.
He's a Semtex grenade. That's what he is. Ain't no
Yeah,
way. The only person that can replace Flavio Briatore is Flavio Briatore himself.
yeah,
And
for
look,
sure.
I don't know what to say, honestly, bro. I really don't know what to say. Apart from that,
What a mess
I'm I'm
Alpine are at the moment,
I,
bro.
I, I'm expecting no stability, bro. They're like a what you call it? They're like a sand. They're like beach sand.
Yeah,
Nothing flat,
absolutely.
bro. No
And it's
foundation.
just and it's just one after another, bro. How can the team focus on their performances on the track when
It's
there's just
impossible.
so much stability and so much instability of the racing track, of the Grand Prix as well. So
The thing is,
what a mess.
not only that, not only that. I don't know if you want to get into it right now. I don't know if you have anything more to say, but we have another driver transfer, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. Now, and unfortunately, it's Jack Doohan. Now, bro, now, guys, we unfortunately kind of expected that Jack Doohan was going to be replaced, and that's exactly what happened. Jack Doohan has been relegated to reserve driver. He hasn't lost his Formula One seat, and in his place is Franco Colapinto. Now, obviously, Franco Colapinto replaced Logan Sargent last season for the last couple of after, if I'm not mistaken, Monza, and I think he made a good impression in the sport, I would say, but unfortunately, he's also infamous for crashing his cars multiple times, and this combined with Alpine, for me, it's a recipe in disaster. Flavio Briatore said that he will race for the next 5 races, so they're gonna have to wait and see how he will be performing in these next 5 races. Because if he's gonna be crashing his car, if he's gonna be crashing his car left, right, and center, and that's exactly what he did, by the way, this weekend in Imola. He ain't lasting long, bro.
Look. There was news in the air that Jack Doohan was gonna get replaced, and in an instantly, I disagreed with it, bro.
No, same here.
What could Jack Doohan do with that tractor? What could he do?
Nothing.
Yes, Pierre Gasly was getting decent results here and there, but what could Jack Doohan do? He's a rookie in the sport. He's a rookie,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
to replace him with Franco Colapinto, no disrespect to Franco Colapinto, I was a huge fan of him last season when he was with Williams paired up with Alex Albon. I was a fan of him. But
Yeah.
I think this is the same case of Liam Lawson taking that Red Bull seat instead of Yuki Tsunoda in the first place. I
Mm.
think this is the same case. I believe it should have been Franco Colapinto instead of Doohan from day one. I believe. I believe.
Yes, and I would say yes and no on that, to be honest, because
My genuine opinion on it.
no, listen, Franco has the talent. There's no doubt about it. But I think the fact that he just crashes, he just stop crashing the car
He is crash prone. He
consistently.
is. He is.
He is crash prone, and I think that compared that with Alpine,
It's not
for
gonna
me,
help their case.
it's not a nice recipe at all to have. And I think for me, this really reminds me of the Nick De Vries situation as well with Alpha Tauri, bro.
Yeah, I do
There
remember. I do
properly.
remember. Of course.
Because I think they could have given Jack Doohan more time. Obviously, he has struggled in that Alpine. I think compared to the other rookies, I think he is the worst rookie. I think of the bunch, sadly. But they had to give him another chance, bro. At the very least. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Listen,
for me,
at this point, sorry for cutting you off. I
no,
believe
no worries.
that Formula One, we know Formula One is a cutthroat business.
It is results based, I would say, yes,
It
but
is a cutthroat business, but I believe it is too cutthroat. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Like
for sure.
way too cutthroat. If someone is not delivering the targets immediately, they're gonna get cut off right off.
And it seems like, bro, they're making these decisions much quicker now compared to the past.
Hence why it has become too cutthroat.
Yeah,
Hence
I
why.
agree. I
Way too
agree.
cutthroat. They're not giving people time, somebody time to bed in. Like, give him a half a season, a year at least. At least half a season. Give him some time. Not just with Liam Lawson. 2 races in, he got the boot. Doohan, 5, 6 races in, he got the boot. Like, bro, Lawson 2 races in, he got the boot. Doohan got the 4 races in, he got the boot. Like, bro, come on.
But
Give the guy some chance at
but
least.
I think with Liam Lawson, everyone knew that move backfired from the get go. So I wasn't
Yeah,
quite. I was more surprised about the timing. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. I was more surprised about the timing of the sacking rather than the decision itself. So I think this and Jack Doohan's are a bit different
They
in
are
that.
different situations. They are different situations. I agree with that. But listen, to get back to the Jack Doohan Franco Colapinto driver swap, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, it wasn't the best of starts from what we've seen this past weekend with Franco
No,
Colapinto and Alpine
absolutely.
in general. Because mind you, this is also Flavio Briatore's first race back
As
since
team principal.
as team principal since '09. Yeah,
Yeah.
like so to say that he's rusty around the edges is an understatement.
And you guaranteed and chaos is guaranteed now with Alpine. I mean they're already
And
unstable enough off the track, and now with
and
Flavio Briatore at the helm is
and
just insane now.
chaos is the last thing they need, bro.
Yeah.
Chaos is the last thing they need. But hey, they're the victims of their own downfall, apparently.
Yeah, they are. Listen, I think Pierre Gasly is their only salvation at the moment. So yeah, what a mess, bro. I mean, just
I don't know
to
what else
like
to say, honestly. I don't
yeah,
know what
no,
else to
same
say.
here. Now listen, yeah, Alpine, big mess at the moment. I have no idea when they're gonna be able to let off some steam in this aspect. As for Jack Doohan, hopefully he'll bounce back from this because this is obviously gonna stink for him.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's a
absolutely,
rookie.
man.
He's still a rookie. He's a very young driver, and I really hope that someone out there gives him another chance because listen, 4 or 5 races for me, for a rookie specifically, he
But
needs way more than that for sure, bro.
who's
There are
gonna
other
replace
worse
them?
drivers. There were far other worse rookies and drivers in the past years that they had a full season, quite literally, to
Hence
show their
why,
talents.
hence why the sport has become way too cutthroat.
Yeah, for sure.
Like there's a fine line. For example, it's we get it that it's cutthroat. It is purely results based, just like you said, but it has become too cutthroat. If you don't deliver the goods from the get go, and listen, there's so much you could do because, of course, you need to have the car enabled to perform.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say with Alpine.
And unfortunately, bro, for Jack Doohan got even worse because he, unfortunately, during this weekend, he was the victim of some horrific online verbal abuse, specifically coming from Argentinians, from Franco Colapinto's fan base, which I absolutely disagree with. Abuse, whether it's verbally, physically, or anything, has no business being there, not just in
Absolutely.
Formula One, but just in everywhere. The same word for Yuki Tsunoda as well. He just can't catch a break, Jack Doohan. So, and I really feel sorry for him. And I think what was even worse with the abuse, is that it targeted his family as well.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know about this.
no, I mean that is not on at all in that regard. So, I really, really hope that Jack Doohan bounced from this. And bro, the abuse got even worse. And the abuse got so bad that Alpine had to release a statement with this.
Oh wow.
And they had to.
Damn, I didn't know about this. I really didn't know. I really
It
didn't
came
know.
out. It came out after this weekend, basically.
All right.
No, no, absolutely no business being there at all. Yeah, what a mess Alpine are at the moment,
I don't want
bro.
to talk about. I don't want to talk about Alpine
Yeah,
no more, man. Fuck the Alpine.
yeah, yeah. Let's just get into the weekend, guys. Imola, bro. I have really nothing else to say with Imola. It's an iconic track. I said it
Proper,
last. I said it
proper.
last year as well
It's a
with my
proper
thoughts
racetrack,
on the
bro.
track. It's a proper race track. Lovely to see it quite back in the sport as well because it returned quite recently in the 2020s as well. So lovely track. It's one of my favorites. What do you think?
It has its great memories, but it also has its tragedies, unfortunately, with Imola.
Yeah, one of his obviously was the Ayrton Senna one.
The Roland Ratzenberger one as well, just the day prior to Ayrton Senna. But it's an iconic track. It's a proper race track, man. It's just like
Yeah,
Suzuka. It should be there always with
yeah,
both
for
Suzuka.
sure.
Even though Suzuka this year wasn't that much, but we don't want to talk about Suzuka. We don't want to talk about Imola. Imola is such a beautiful track. I never understood why Imola took so long to get back on the calendar. It was due to
No,
COVID that it came back. It was thanks to COVID.
yeah, that was like the main reason why Imola returned back to to the F1 calendar. So, all right, bro. Let's get straight into it. We're obviously gonna start with qualifying, and then we head into the race. And qualifying, bro, was pretty eventful, both for the right and also for the wrong reasons. And
Yeah,
sadly, I know we started this episode quite on the negative side of things, bro. And unfortunately, we're gonna have to continue with the negative side of things because
yeah.
unfortunately in Q1, Yuki Tsunoda had a really horrific accident, and luckily he walked out of there without any scratches. But that accident, bro, could have ended up far worse. We
That
also
could
had
have
a
been
red flag
fatal, but thank God for the safety that this sport provides.
with the
Thank
halos,
God.
bro.
That halo, bro, every single time. And not just the halo, but also the safety of the drivers.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
only we had these sort of safety measures 30 years ago at least.
Hmm.
If only, man. If only.
No, no. I mean, yeah,
But
I
with that
absolutely
crash,
agree.
that was on the what? How in the left right
Yeah,
going
yeah.
onto Tamburello. I believe is it Tamburello?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Tamburello.
No, he just lost control basically of the car
Yes, but going into the left, he got too much curb. He lost the rears,
and
spun,
tumbled.
and then he even flipped. The car flipped as he was on the gravel and right onto the fence and the barriers. Thank God he
Yeah.
was okay, but unfortunately that's all she wrote for him in that session, and he was out. He had to start even the race from the pit lane.
Yeah, he had to start the race on the pit lane, but I think, bro, the
Which by
most
the way,
important thing.
which by
Sorry.
the way, shout out to the mechanics at Red Bull for fixing that car.
Yeah, for sure. No, no, absolutely. I mean, it's so hard. I can't. I can only imagine how tough it is to get that car fixed in no time for in just one day for the race. So
Uh huh.
big shout out to the mechanics first of all, but secondly, bro, I think the most important thing is that he's okay.
Thank
He got
God.
out of
Thank
there.
God.
He got out of there in one piece because that
Thank God.
crash initially on its surface it looked really bad. So
Absolutely.
thank God that Yuki is okay. And with the rest who got knocked out of Q1, no, sorry about that.
Okay.
Those who got knocked out of Q1, pretty. I mean, you could say the usual suspects. Unfortunately, the two Hasses, Oliver Berman and Esteban
I
Ocon,
was gonna mention
Haas,
them.
bro, Haas
Poor
are
weekend, man.
going.
What a garbage weekend they had.
Yeah,
That's back to back.
yeah, it is back to back. No, Haas at the moment they're going
That's
through
back.
a rocky patch at the moment for sure.
That's back to back like Drake for them, bro. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
Crazy. And even just not just in qualifying, but also in the race, they were unlucky though. They were quite unlucky in the race
But
as well.
they were very lackluster as well. You could
Yeah,
say that as well, bro.
they were.
You could say Nico Hulkenberg in 17 with the Sauber. Again, the talent is there, but the car is in transition mode, as we said time and time again. And Liam Lawson in 16 with the Racing Bulls, bro. Liam Lawson's return at the moment is kind of stinky.
I mean, listen, it's the demotion from Red Bull to Racing Bulls is paying not paying justice, but let's say it was the right decision to make. Let's just say it was the right decision to make.
Yeah, for
It was,
sure.
it was way too early of a jump for him to go to Red Bull that early. It was way
Yeah,
too
for
early.
sure, for sure. Now, bro, I mean, obviously, Lawson, Hulkenberg, and two Hasses were, you could say they were disappointed, but at the same time, they were very unlucky because like 10 seconds before Q1 ended, we had another crash, and we mentioned him earlier in this episode, Franco Colapinto, and that's
The
exactly why,
first in
and that's
his first
exactly
race back,
in his
bro.
debut, man,
First weekend back, bro. You
and
go on and
that's
do that.
I mean, bro, that's why I told you that him and Alpine are a recipe of disasters because
And wasn't it the
Colapinto
same corner
is
that
crash prone.
was it the same?
If not, it was quite closer than that, bro, for sure.
I mean, your first weekend back, Colapinto. Now look, I like Colapinto. I like him,
Yeah,
but again, just like you mentioned, he's crash prone. And to join Alpine and to come back on your first race back,
yeah, for
first
sure.
race
I
weekend
mean,
back, bro. Bro,
unfortunately,
whose decision was it to bring Colapinto back? Was it Briatore?
I mean, if it was Briatore, bro, I mean, Colapinto didn't make a good first impression for Flavio for sure. If that's the case, because yeah, I mean, I mean, that's not the way to start your debut
But
with
listen,
Alpine for sure.
at least, just like Tsunoda, he's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
At least.
He actually because of Tsunoda's crash, he started Q2. He started the race in 15th. Obviously, since that he got knocked out of Q1 because of Tsunoda's elimination and because of the red flag. In Q2, Gaby Bortolato Sauber 14th. Impressive for him to get into Q2, but Q2, bro.
Impressive. Impressive.
Besides Bortoletto, we had some major shocks. The first,
Bro,
in his home soil, Kimi Antonelli in 13th. Listen, he's a
very,
rookie, of course,
very.
but very surprised that he got knocked out in Q2 and quite in the lower back of the grid, bro, in 13th place.
In 13th, yes, that was that was a shocker, but before him, even two bigger shocks, which we're gonna get into. But unfortunately for Antonelli, that was the start of an unlucky weekend because in the race he didn't
Yeah,
fare too much better as well. At first he was good, but at the later parts, not much.
not his. I think it just wasn't his
It was a
weekend in
poor
general,
weekend, bro,
bro.
and
But
out of all weekends at home, man, in this home soil. But
yeah, very unlucky. But bro, we're gonna get to Antonelli very soon when we talk about the race. Ferrari
bro,
double elimination.
bro,
Now,
bro,
initially, before I get to your thoughts, but now, bro, initially, I thought that okay, they were gonna make it to Q3 with both cars. I think the rest of the pack were probably gonna get a slower lap time, but no. Not only that Ferrari got knocked out of Q2 with both cars, bro, but they were out qualified by one of the
sadly.
Alpines, by the two Williams, and by the two fucking Aston Martins, who Aston Martin, by the way, are having a very poor season at the moment. They got out qualified by both Aston Martins, bro. That is embarrassing. Now, thankfully, the race was a completely different story. But
We're gonna get
as for
into that.
qualifying, a performance, bro, from both Leclerc and Hamilton. And you were absolutely fuming, by the
Look.
way. Look.
I'm lost for words already. Look, I was watching qualifying, yeah. I was watching qualifying. When I saw Alonso put in the lap to knock down Leclerc into a lint, I was alright then. Because I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I mean, Leclerc and Hamilton, they're still they're doing their out lap. They have time to cross the line and start their lap. Once the commentator said that both Ferraris are out, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I was in shock. I didn't know what happened. In fact, I was like, I was in the group chat telling you, we got knocked out. What the fuck? Because I didn't expect it. I was so pissed off that I turned the TV off.
Yeah.
Like Kendrick Lamar. I turned the TV off like Kendrick Lamar, bro. I
Kendrick
was so
Lamar,
pissed off.
settings. Turn his TV off.
I was so pissed off. I didn't watch Q3. And there was a meltdown online. There was a
I
huge meltdown because this was supposed to be the
no,
weekend
understandably.
where we should have had some decent upgrades and it's on home soil. But now apparently that the major upgrades are coming to Spain. So not even Monaco next week. They're coming for Catalonia. Yeah. So we got a lot to catch up
But they
catching
already
up
had
to
the
do.
upgrades coming in this weekend, right?
They were minor apparently. I thought they were major upgrades. But apparently they're minor. That was a
Yeah,
mistake from my end. Last episode I said major upgrades, but it's actually minor upgrades. And it's thanks to the commentators that I found that out.
but those
Yeah,
my
but
upgrades didn't work out
I
for sure,
was.
bro, in qualifying.
Oh my god, listen, I was so pissed, man. So pissed. I don't do this. I usually don't do this. I was gonna leave a comment on one of their posts that they got knocked out. I don't do it. I was like, get those engineers out ASAP.
They
Who,
heads have to roll, bro,
bro?
in your team.
Who's working on the car, bro? Is it Bob the Builder?
Bob
Who's
the Builder's
working?
Bob the Builder's supposed to fix things, bro. So
My head's gone. My head's gone. I'm sorry.
no. You were you. I mean, it was fucking hilarious at that moment for me
Yeah,
because obviously
but I said Bob the
I
Builder.
arrived,
I said Bob the Builder
but
because Bob the Builder has something
yeah,
to do with points.
but no,
The
but
Lego car.
anyhow,
I reckon. After when that Q2 session ended, I was telling to myself, bro, I swear to God that the Ferrari Lego car that I built is faster than that shit show.
Jesus man, that's outrageous, man.
Now look, Q2 ended. We went on to Q3. I didn't watch Q3 because I was so pissed off. Just like I said. But at least in the race, which we're gonna get into, it was rectified. At
No, but
least.
listen, with qualifying, that was unforgivable. I mean, the
Bro,
fact not
I was telling you all in the group chat that I want the season to end.
the,
I was telling you all in the group chat. I was telling you all to bin the season.
excuse me, man. Excuse me.
Don't
And
worry.
Aston Martin, who are having an absolute shit show of a season, and even of all tracks, bro, at Imola, one of the
All
home
in
tracks,
all,
one of the home tracks of Ferrari. I know
which is
Monza's the main one,
which is
but
close. Which Emilio Romagna apparently is closest to Maranello.
yeah, bro, it's just not that was embarrassing for
Very.
you lot to get knocked out of Q2 with both cars because I expected at least I expected both cars to get into Q3 to be fair, but with both out of Q2, not only they had a lot of work to do, but it's just nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near Ferrari's
Absolutely.
standard, in my opinion, as well to get both cars out
And
of
even
Q2.
listen from the start of the season. But I don't want to talk about Q2 anymore. Just get into Q3. I didn't
Yeah,
watch Q3. I know who ended up where, but I didn't watch it. I don't
nah,
know
for
what
sure.
happened.
Also, Q3, we had a couple of surprises, bro. So, Pierre Gasly in 10th. Now, as we said, I think Pierre Gasly at the moment looks like Alpine's only beacon of hope, bro, because obviously
And
they
he's
have,
been that
and he has been the beacon of hope
since
during his entire time. Obviously, no disrespect to Franco Colapinto, but given the shenanigans that's going on behind the scenes and with the team in general, bro, the team needs his guidance, and right now he is at least trying to show that guidance, and he put himself into 10th place. In ninth, Isaac Hajar, who is going under the radar, in my opinion. Obviously, we've praised him already this season, but right now, very surprised by how little coverage this guy's getting, bro, because
yeah, absolutely.
he's having an excellent start to his F1 career, and definitely he's outperforming Liam Lawson at the moment,
Absolutely.
who who he got into the team just a couple of races ago in ninth place. The biggest surprise, bro, was the Aston Martins because both Aston
Absolutely.
Martins, as we said, made it into Q3. Lance Stroll in eighth and Fernando Alonso in fifth place. Much needed for them.
Like I was like when I saw those Aston Martins go through and Ferrari no, Ferrari didn't. I'm like, bro, do you mean to tell me Aston Martin were worse than us and somehow in one
Yeah.
weekend they surpassed us? Somehow we got
No,
out
that
qualified, but
No, that was unforgivable. But give it to us. Going back to Aston Martin now, unfortunately, their race was the complete opposite.
yeah,
Given how their season is going at the moment, but with qualifying, easily their best of the season,
absolutely,
without any question. To get both cars into the top 10, specifically Alonso in the top 5. At the which who Alonso, unfortunately, he's had a really disastrous season at the moment with getting knocked out, getting a DNF in races, and getting disappointing qualifying performances to get himself into the top 5. Much needed boost for them. Also for Lance Stroll in 8th place, getting second in the top 10. Sandwiched in between them, are the two Williams, Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, 6 and 7. Bro, Williams, both cars in the top 10.
Again.
And yet again, brilliant for them. I think the word I think the best way to describe Williams was consistency, without a
Consistency,
doubt.
and they're moving up gradually as well.
Yeah,
Brilliant by them. Absolutely brilliant. We want to see Williams on the forefront again.
they
We want
have
to see Williams.
completely, bro. They've made last season just
Peanuts. It was nothing.
they made last season literally vanish in the distance, quite literally.
And it's thanks to the addition of Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz has brought in so much experience that has
But even Alex,
improved Max.
even Alex Albon,
Albon,
bro.
absolutely, absolutely. Albon was already
Even,
there. Albon was already showing, telling Williams
yeah,
what and what not to do with the car, how to improve. Albon was already there. What was holding Williams back is that second driver spot. They had Logan Sargent, and then they had a brief period with Colapinto.
yeah.
Now they have two great drivers in Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz, which are helping them massively. And with Mr. Data himself, James Vowles, bro, they
Listen,
moving.
two things. Number
They're
one,
moving.
I mean, two things. Both Williams. Number one, Alex Albon. Not only he has obviously he's been there for quite some time. He's leveled up this season, 100%. I
Absolutely.
mean,
He's leveling
from
up.
obviously his last two seasons, he has leveled up by a.
He's getting better and better. He's getting better and better each season.
And number two, bro, Carlos Sainz. He's finally looking. He's starting to settle. He's starting to feel comfortable now in the Williams, and it looks like also, bro. You could say he's made a bit of an upgrade from Ferrari because in Q2 he got the fastest time in Q2.
At that point, it looked like. But this is the thing with people jumping the gun too quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all dudes jump the gun way too quickly.
A lot of people are jumping the gun, yes, but
Yeah,
I
but
mean
yeah, but people
that
are
looks
fickle,
really
bro.
ugly for But
The
listen, bro,
same,
that
the
looks
same
very ugly for
people.
Ferrari.
It did. Trust me, it did. I had to turn my TV off. But people are so quick to judge, bro. They're calling Hamilton washed, past
No,
his
no,
prime. How dare you? How dare you?
no, he can't. We'll get to Hamilton very, very soon in the
And
race,
thank
bro. With
God, and
that,
thank God, what happened in the race. Thank God.
all right, we'll get to the race very, very soon, guys. Very basically about this top four. So top four, Lando Norris again, a disappointing fourth place. I expected him at least to be in those top three places, maybe even like a second or pole position. But again, to get out qualified by not only his teammate but also George Russell again, disappointing. And this is like I think this is the second weekend in a row. If not, he also had it in another weekend as well. Fourth place is disappointing for Lando Norris because I expect him at least to be in those top three places. George Russell, as I said, in third place. And bro, speaking of Alex Albon leveling up, George Russell has also leveled up this season
I
considerably.
mean,
He's
he
taking that
has to.
leadership role with ease,
He
for
has to.
sure.
He has to. He's now the leader of Mercedes now. He's the lead Mercedes.
Yeah, for sure.
He has to.
And the top two, pretty expected considering how the season is going. Max Verstappen in second with a 1:14.704, and Oscar Piastri once again in pole position with a 1:14.670. Just Oscar Piastri broke strength to strength yet again
Bro, that
with
Oscar Piastri
another pole
is
position.
so comfortable in that McLaren, man.
Mature,
He's
bro.
he's looking more comfortable than Norris when it should be the other way around.
It should be for sure.
But Oscar Piastri, he got the sauce, bro. He got the sauce. He's
Yeah,
moving
for
like
sure.
a kangaroo now right now, man. He moving like crazy.
No, he's a crazy season so far, Oscar Piastri as
But
well, bro. And
not surprised.
as for Max Verstappen, he did the best he could with that Red Bull. It's obviously not the quickest car on the grid,
Is it
but
is
he
it
is.
is it is it Max Verstappen or is it Franz Herrmann?
Hmm. Interesting.
I would
Interesting.
spend some time in practice with the Franz Herrmann
And bro,
situation.
to continue on the subject of Max Verstappen, we're gonna head into the race quite now, quite literally. What a ridiculous opening lap overtake by Max, bro,
My
on Oscar
God.
Piastri on lap one. That was
My God.
outrageous. Seriously.
Look, initially, it was a clean getaway from everyone on the grid. And Verstappen, it was a poor getaway from him because Russell was
Yeah.
right behind Piastri, pause, and right beside Verstappen. Then Russell backed off, a bit because Piastri braked earlier, and Verstappen just went to the outside. It was a clean swoop, bro. And after that, he just took off.
He just took off, and bro, that overtake, it was just
My God,
traditional Verstappen. And that was a traditional Verstappen overtake, bro,
this two
from the outside, quite
Verstappen,
literally.
two
Seriously.
Verstappen was doing GT3 test in the Nordschleife earlier in the week.
Yeah,
Was doing
for
GT3
sure.
tests. He's
I
already
mean,
preparing his door out of Formula One. Bro,
yeah,
at this point, Formula One is like a side hustle to him.
yeah.
It's like
And
a side
listen,
hustle.
bro, a couple of seconds before the overtake, I was like, a couple of seconds before he did the overtake, I was like, Max has made a really, really poor
Same
start,
here.
but
Same here.
that backfired completely.
Yeah,
It did
yeah.
it.
Listen, he compensated for that poor start. He
Yeah.
compensated easily because that was just one quick swoop, and then he just took off, bro.
Bro, why don't you give your thoughts on the race of what happened? Because after that, we did see a couple of overtakes, and we also had a couple of virtual safety cars as well
Absolutely.
in the second half of the race.
Absolutely. Like during the Leclerc and Ferrari, I'm gonna start off with with both Ferraris. Leclerc had a pretty good getaway. He was battling with Pierre Gasly at first, going into one of the corners. I believe going into what was that corner out of Tambarello
Yeah, yeah,
up onto the hill, and then you take a left.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Gasly made a mistake. He overtook Gasly. Gasly had to drop some places. It was a pretty good getaway for Leclerc. Hamilton struggled a bit due to the hards. But other than that, Leclerc was making up positions. Then at one point, Hamilton was trying to overtake Antonelli, and for a large portion of the race, he was battling against Antonelli. He just couldn't get the overtake done. Then the first round of pit stops came. McLaren were poor on the pit stops this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
McLaren were
We
so
had,
poor.
and that was uncharacteristic from the entire team because we're so used to making very quick pit stops just on the go, and like we've also broke the record for the quickest pit stop of the season last year. But all our pit stops were very, very poor. Some of them were also, most of them were
Maybe
also
one,
quite slow.
maybe
Some of them were
one
also quite
was.
slow with the tire changes, bro. And that's something that I didn't expect from the team at all. Now, obviously, we also lack, and also not just with the pistols, bro, but we also lacked pace compared to Verstappen as well.
Yeah, Verstappen was in another league, bro, this
Yeah,
weekend. He was crazy, man. He was
back to his old
absolutely
habits.
bonkers. Bonkers, bro. That was a Suzuka-esque performance from Verstappen. And other than that, then we had the first VSC, which was the first and only VSC actually, with Esteban Ocon retiring from the race due to an engine failure. Pit stops came, it benefited some teams, it did it not so lucky for other teams such as Aston Martin, bro.
Yeah,
Aston Martin, Alonso was running fifth. At the moment when I believe was it between Russell and Norris.
yeah,
Norris was battling Russell for third, I believe, at the point,
yeah.
and he overtook him with a couple of laps later from the start.
Mm,
And Alonso, like the old fox that he is, he was just lurking, lurking, lurking,
yeah, for sure.
and he was there for some decent points. His first, I believe, his first points of the season.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah,
Yeah, for his first points of the season, which is quite uncharacteristic of Fernando Alonso himself. But unfortunately, after the first VSC, after the pit stop with Alonso, his brakes caught fire. His front wheels caught fire.
that was
And
quite early on in the race, actually.
was it early on?
That was
Was it?
quite early on in
All
the race.
right,
You know,
all right, all right.
yeah,
I forgot about it. My apologies. But at one point, it did call fire. Other than that, and he got very unlucky. He even said it on the team radio, "I am the unluckiest driver in the world."
yeah, for sure.
Same as Leclerc. We're gonna get into Leclerc as well. And then a VSC, a free pit stop, always welcome, which solidified after that first VSC. After that VSC, it solidified Verstappen's place that he's gonna win the race.
Yeah,
He's the first.
and that benefited that benefited a lot that very because he actually
Absolutely.
made the pit stop, even for the McLarens as well.
But then Piastri made his. He already made a pit stop. Piastri. He
Yeah,
put
yeah,
on a set of hards. Then on the VSC, he made another stop. He put on a new set of hards, and then he was just weaseling his way to the grid, bro.
yeah.
At one
That
point,
just shows how quick the McLaren is as well.
he overtook Sonoda on the start-finish straight, both of them with DRS. He just
Yeah,
overtook him. If
like it's
that was
nothing.
if that was Perez, he would have defended that. That's when you need Perez, bro. Just when you need the Mexicans.
Yeah, but they don't have him now anymore
Yeah.
with the entire Red Bull team with that.
And then Piastri was wheezing his way to the field. Verstappen was still first. He was cruising. He was about 18 seconds in front. And then this one, I believe, was the controversy.
Yeah, and I also agree with what you're going to say. The Kimi Antonelli.
Kimi Antonelli. Unfortunately for him, he had to retire due to an engine failure. It was very unfortunate for him. It was his home race.
Uh-huh.
It was quite sad. It was quite sad to see. But what I'm saying is controversial is he stopped at the same place that Ocon did, same reason, but this time it wasn't a VSC, it was a full safety car with like what,
A
8,
couple of
15,
laps
8,
to go.
18, 15 laps to go, was it? I
Yeah,
don't
something
remember.
like that. Yeah, for sure.
And I was quite in awe right there. Like, why did you do the same? Why did you
Baffled.
put a VSC just like what you did with Ocon earlier?
I think baffled is the word, bro.
Why didn't they do it? Why? Just to
Yeah.
make it interesting for the last couple of laps? Now here's the thing.
I think it's because of that, bro. I think they wanted to make the last couple of laps interesting, and let's just say, and they were like, let's just throw a full on safety car and make the last couple of laps interesting, which I don't agree with, by the way, as well. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Because Norris at the time, he just put in a new set. So here
yeah,
again with the bias, bro. Again with the bias. Could it be
for
the
sure.
case? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to judge. I don't want to call it out.
Yeah.
But Verstappen, I believe everyone came in for a new set apart from Piastri, who didn't come in because he had no more sets available, and Leclerc wanted to put on the softs, but the team didn't allow him to put on the softs. And after that, after the restart, Verstappen took off early. And here's a mistake McLaren did because they were running Verstappen first, Piastri second with his cooked hards. Pause. That sounds so wrong. And Norris in third with a new set, or I believe was it medium or hards? I can't quite remember.
I believe it was mediums, but I think
Mediums.
Oscar Piastri's hards,
Yeah,
they
they
just
were
wore off
crushed. They were
completely towards the
cooked.
end,
They were cooked, bro.
and that
And here's
comprises win.
and here's the mistake that they did. They didn't change position as earlier as they should have to allow Norris to go after Verstappen to get a proper shot at him. They kept Piastri at second and it made Norris have to fight for his position. Essentially, a couple laps after, the gap for Verstappen was growing. There was no way Norris was going to catch him up after that. They should have done that way earlier, like right after the restart. They should have swapped positions then and there.
And also, bro, Norris was very lucky that he didn't receive a time penalty because he just got past Alex Albon at the safety car, and
Yeah,
that was also a mistake. And that was also because of another slow pit stop.
again,
Main
again.
reasons as well.
So he was quite a bit lucky. They were quite a bit lucky and unlucky at the same time. Now, apart from that, I
Yeah,
believe McLaren should have done better with that strategy because they should have learned from Suzuka.
for
They should have
sure.
learned that from Suzuka, but clearly they didn't understand their
Yeah,
lesson. They still got second and third, but and there was a chance at first. No, Albon. Sorry, I believe was it Albon in third. Norris overtook. I don't quite remember.
Albon had a shot. Albon had a shot at the podium.
He had a shot at the podium, Albon. He was very close, but that McLaren proved too quick for him.
Yeah,
But
McLaren's just
and
so
then he
quick.
was fighting both Ferrari. He was fighting both Ferraris, Leclerc's and Hamilton's. Hamilton just come in for a new set of mediums. Leclerc was still on his old hards, and Hamilton just took Albon and then took Leclerc. Once that happened, there was like about a lap to go.
Yeah,
That was on the 62nd lap, and Leclerc was struggling to defend Albon. At one point, just on the first corner, Albon had to run wide because Leclerc squeezed him off, and then he had to give the position back.
yeah,
After Hamilton overtook Leclerc, I called it on the group chat, by the way.
yeah.
Hamilton, there was no way that he was going to catch Piastri for third place because it
No,
was too
no,
much of a
no.
gap, and with one lap, it wasn't going to
The
happen.
gap was just too big between him and Piastri.
So what Hamilton had to do was allow Leclerc with the DRS, give him the DRS so he can defend from Albon at least. But unfortunately, that incident happened on the first corner. It wasn't a crash, it was just Albon going wide onto the gravel. And it wasn't thanks to race control, but they just gave up the position straight away, Ferrari. They gave up the
Yeah,
position straight away because they didn't want to risk a penalty and they just wanted to risk. With Hamilton finishing fourth and Leclerc in sixth, sandwiched by sandwiched in
Alex
between
Albon.
Alex Albon. Alex Albon, great race, but thank God it was Verstappen who won the race. Masterclass from him. Norris and Piastri finishing second and third, rounding off the podium.
Yeah.
Hamilton fourth, Albon fifth, Leclerc sixth. I was so happy with that performance. I believe that if we started further up the grid, I believe we could have had a shot at the podium. I firmly
Yeah.
believe we could have had a shot at the podium.
You had a chance actually for the podium.
Because the car was looking good, the stops were great, the strategy was good, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. They made up the best they could, and fourth and sixth, I have nothing to complain about. So me turning the TV off on Saturday at least paid dividends on Sunday. Because it
But
was a
I
great
think,
race for
bro, I
Ferrari.
think it was also a missed opportunity because I think if you had a much better qualifying performance, I think you would have had a shot at the podium for sure.
Absolutely. If we started further up, surely. Definitely.
Definitely. No, bro, but just to give my thoughts on the top 10, Max for Verstappen, fully deserved win. Another that is, I mean, for me, that is a return to his old habits, a largely comfortable display and a commanding display for Max as well. I mean, after that overtake on the opening lap, he just looked damn troubled.
He
Even with
took
the
off,
virtuous
bro.
safety, even
He
even
took
with
off.
yeah, he took off. Even with the virtuous safety car and with the safety car being deployed, um, there was just never a point that both McLarens were gonna do the overtake on him. Now on the McLarens, second and third, listen, more points in the bag. In the constructors, that's a pretty large points haul in the bag. But at the same time, I am a little bit disappointed with this weekend overall. Now,
Why?
obviously, listen, you can't get every weekend, you can't win every weekend, but I think we made a couple of mistakes. Obviously, the pit stop strategies were uncharacteristically poor from the team. We had a lot of slow pit stops, and most of the tires were just not placed correctly as well, like very
I'm
very
sorry.
quickly. And even pace wise, we just we failed to match Verstappen's pace, unfortunately. So that kind of compromised a bit of our race. We also made a bit of a mistake towards the second half of the race where we had to swap Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri quite earlier
That was the
on the
chance,
safety
bro.
car.
That was the chance.
Yeah, for
For me,
sure.
that you did the same. McLaren did the same mistake as they did in Suzuka.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think this was worse. I think than Suzuka. I think.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
sure, but
because Piastri's tires were cooked and Norris had to fight, had to work his
yeah,
way up
for
into
sure.
second because Piastri wasn't making it easy
And
for
I
him.
think those pit stops kind of compromised Piastri's race because those hard compound tires were cooked as fuck towards the last few laps of the race. And that pretty much sacrificed Piastri to win the race, and he ended up finishing in third, which based on how his season is going at the moment, that's probably his worst result. No, his second worst result because his worst result was in Australia where he got that crash, unfortunately. But yeah, a I wouldn't say a poor weekend because we got a lot of points in the back for the entire team, but it's a disappointing weekend for us in general. But obviously, we will have better weekends than this for sure. So it's not
You've
the end
had
of the world.
already. You've had already.
It's not the end of the world for sure. I mean, look how much time has changed now since a couple of years ago, where we used to where like a podium finish would be like would be like the happiest thing of our lives right now. So like getting disappointed over a second and third just shows how much progress that the entire team has made.
Absolutely.
Um, Ferrari, bro, good weekend for. I think that was a very good response
Compensation.
from your a very good response from your shenanigans in qualifying.
Compensation. At
I
least
think
they
a fourth place
compensated
for
me for
Hamilton
it.
specifically, they compensated for their poor qualifying performance. So
Yeah, call him
specifically for
Wash
Hamilton,
now, yeah. Call him Wash now,
I'm
yeah.
not I'm not I didn't
Call him
I'm not
Wash
calling him
now.
washed now
Call
because
him
no, I
Wash.
have to no, I have to agree that Hamilton, he had a fantastic race. I mean, with fourth place with that Ferrari, for me he's a strong contender for driver of the day, which we're gonna get into those awards very very quickly.
It's between
Um,
him and another driver, to be honest.
Uh,
That's what
and,
it
and
is.
speaking of which, it's Alex Albon, bro. Albon again. That Williams just shows how how consistently quick that Williams is. I mean, I was very surprised by how it was matching Ferrari's pace.
Absolutely.
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 So a fifth place for him. So fantastic result for him. Uh Even Leclerc, bro, in sixth place. He was a little bit disappointed after the race because
Yeah.
I think he expected a little bit more. But at least given that he started the race outside the top 10, um he worked his way up the field quite decently.
It was a good performance, but still a lot of work to do still.
A lot of work to do. Bro, Mercedes had a really poor weekend. I mean, George
Those
Russell
were,
seventh.
yeah, he dropped down in seventh. I
He
believe
dropped down in seventh.
those safety cars, they didn't pay dividends to
Compromised.
him. They didn't pay
Yeah, it
dividends to him.
compromised his race.
And with Antonelli retiring in the home race
Yeah,
as well.
listen, for Kimi Antonelli, really felt sorry for him because he retired at his home Grand Prix of all places. But listen, I think he will, as I said with McLaren, he will have better weekends than last weekend for sure. This is going to be a stepping stone for him. He will learn as he goes along because he's obviously, yes, he drives for Mercedes, but he is still a rookie. So he will have his dark days and he will also have his bright days in the sport. But yeah, this is definitely his worst weekend so far in the sport. But at the same
Unfortunately.
time, he will definitely learn from this for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, bro, speaking of Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz in eight. That's a double top 10. That's a double
Again.
top 10 finish for Williams.
Last year
And
last year is long gone.
yeah, last year is
Last
just nothing now
last year
compared to this.
last year is a distant memory. Total
Yeah,
distant memory.
yeah,
Absolutely
for
impressed.
sure.
I'm so happy to see Carlos Sainz doing so well, man. After
I'm
seeing
up
a
with the
lot
same here.
after seeing a lot of people question his decision to join Williams, I never questioned his decision because I knew that he made a decent choice in joining Williams.
Yeah.
Do I believe he should have joined Red Bull? Maybe. But Williams is on the up and up. And him and Alex Albon and James Vowles, they make a great trio. And
Yeah.
it's showing that. So happy for Carlos Sainz. Absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant
yeah,
from
for
him.
sure. Same here. And finishing up the top 10, bro. Isaac Hadjar in ninth,
Another point
like
finish.
just as he started in qualifying, and Yuki Tsunoda in 10. Now keep in mind, Yuki Tsunoda started the race from the pit lane after
Yeah.
his horrifying crash in qualifying. So it's 1 point, but that is a very good performance from him. Work his way
That's
up to get
compensation. That
himself
is
in the points.
compensation. That is
Yeah,
compensation. And listen, you mentioned Hamilton might be contender for driver of the day or maybe two. You might give Bo- Hamilton or Albon. I'm gonna go with Hamilton or Tsunoda, bro, because I was
he
very
could be a
impressed.
shout. Yeah, as well. He could be a shout as well for driver of the day.
But
Uh
but if we're gonna get to the driver of the day, I don't know.
yeah. We'll get into that straight away. Driver of the day. For me, it's between it's a three-way fight between
Listen,
Verstappen, Hamilton, and
Verstappen.
Albon, bro.
Listen, Verstappen. Great race, total masterclass from him. But today, I'm gonna give it to Lewis Hamilton.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give it to Lewis Hamilton. The fact that for the majority of the season, that Ferrari has been struggling like crazy. Yes, he won a sprint. Yes, he got two sprint podiums. But going into this weekend, we expect so much better from Ferrari. Us Ferrari fans, we did expect so much better.
Yeah,
And to put off that performance and finish P4, brilliant. Brilliant. I'm gonna
yeah.
give Tsunoda close second. Same with Verstappen. Same with Albon. But I'm gonna give it to Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, for me, I was gonna give the driver of the day to Hamilton, but since I want to go for someone different, I'm gonna pick Alex Albon, bro, for sure for driver of the day. I mean,
Decent
fifth
choice. Decent
place with the
choice.
Williams is a fantastic result for him. So
Decent
Williams
choice.
overall, another great weekend for them, but I'm gonna give it to Alex Albon for driver of the day. Losers of the day.
Alpine.
Now, losers of the day.
Alpine.
You could. I mean, Alpine is definitely a choice, yes, but you could pick McLaren because McLaren, yes, they score a double points
Or
finish. No. I'm not gonna put. I'm not putting McLaren for losers of the day because yes,
I'm gonna go.
McLaren did finish second and third, but
I'll go with Haas, bro.
disappointing weekend for me. Aston Martin, bro.
Yeah, they fumbled, bro. They fumbled it.
For me, it's Aston Martin, bro, because after that qualifying performance, to go and do that in the race with neither driver getting themselves into the points, it just continues their really poor season. And for me, this was a missed opportunity for them. Yes,
You
you
know
could
what?
go
You
with
know what? That's a good
Alpine.
shout. Yeah, that's a good
You
shout.
could go with
Aston Martin.
Alpine. You could go with Alpine, but with Alpine, I kind of expected them to have another poor weekend. So
That's a good shout.
I'm gonna have to pick Aston Martin, bro, for
You know
the
what?
final
You know
day.
what? I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Aston Martin too. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with you. I'm gonna go with Aston Martin.
Dick of the day and clown of the day, bro. Do we have any picks? Not really,
Well, I
right?
mean, clowns of the weekend. You could say Alpine.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. Dick
And
of the day, maybe that Leclerc and Albin, that Albin incident, you would say, but
nah.
not really, right?
Everyone was a good boy this weekend. Everyone was a good
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. All right. The top 10 looks something like this. Bob McLaren, Oscar Piastri remains on top with 146 points. Lando Norris in second with 133 points. So Bob McLaren drivers remain in the top two standings. Verstappen's win remains him in third place, but he's just 9 points behind Norris with 124 points. George Russell in fourth with 99 points. The two Ferraris, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton in fifth and sixth with 61 points and 53 points. Kimi Antonelli remains in seventh with 48 points. Alex Albon in eighth with 40 points. That's really impressive for him.
Absolutely.
Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll remain in ninth and 10th with 14 points respectively. The constructors, McLaren, continue to continue to increase their gap in the constructor standings with 279 points, behind with Mercedes with 147 points, Red Bull in third with 131 points, Ferrari remain in fourth with 114 points, Williams remain in fifth with 51 points. Haas in sixth with 20 points. Aston Martin remain in seventh. Basically, the rest of the top 10 remain as they are. Aston Martin in seventh with 14. Racing Bulls in eighth with 10. Alpine in ninth with just 7 points. And Sauber in 10th with 6 points, respectively. All right, guys, that is it. That is the end of
Another
this
FP
episode.
done.
Just on the 1 hour mark. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on our socials, as I said
Much love,
at the
much
start
love.
at the start of this episode. Our next episode is just in a week's time because, as you know, guys, we've started the European portion of the season, and
Thank
this
God.
is a
Thank God.
and this is a triple header weekend. We had Imola last weekend, and this week we have Monaco. Obviously, the prestigious Monaco.
Great track, but I mean, it's all about qualifying for
Yeah,
Monaco.
it's all about qualifying.
It's all
So I
about
don't
qualifying.
think.
Unless something extraordinary in the race happens.
Yeah,
But we'll have to wait and see on that.
listen. Let's hope that we have a good race. But
As
unfortunately,
always.
given with every season, we normally don't have we don't have an exciting race in
Yeah.
Monaco. But let's hope we have a good one in this coming Sunday, guys.
Let's get
All
it.
right, we're gonna sign out. Let's hope you have a good rest of the week, guys. And with that,
Much love.
we're gonna be saying farewell. See you.
Yeet. Deuce.